Okay, here is the lesson video for today on lesson 3, unit 2, proportional relationships. We're dealing with today is lesson 3 from today is October 1st and October 2nd. So here, let's go ahead and get started. And I think I'm going to actually take myself out there. How you doing? Yeah, come down here. Okay, hey, bye. No, yeah, I just think it's a little less distracting to have me off. Okay, here we go. So, focus today. And remember, the red arrows mean you need to write these things down in your notebooks. And so, what I'd like you to do is stop the video here and write this down. Because this focus is let's solve more problems involving proportional relationships using tables. And then we're going to focus, our process would be, we're going to be taking and really defining proportional relationships more clearly than we have before. So I'm going to take a few moments here and show you that. But, using a table to describe the two quantities that are in a proportional relationship. And these are made up of, say I have a table here, say a 2 to 4, 4 to 8, 6 to 12, 10 to 20. These are all, what is these? These are ratios. We've been talking about them. And in a table, they are made up, and especially in a proportional relationship, they are equivalent ratios. So another highlight of proportional relationships, they are multiplied by the same number, k, to get the values for the other quantity. We'll talk more about that in a minute. And these quantities can increase or decrease together. As you'll see here in this table, they when we went from here to here, they increased. And we'll also be talking about today, we'll be talking about the constant of proportionality, or K. I'll refer to it as K, or the constant. And it determines the relationship between the two quantities, X and Y. Well, what does this mean? Well, let's find out. So first of all, what do you notice? What do you wonder? Just take a moment and write this table down in your notes. And again, just to show you how easy that is, because I like to demonstrate note taking, like that: 1, 12, 3, 36, 5, 60, 10, 120. It doesn't have to be pretty, and I'm writing at a kind of an odd angle here. But just write that in your notes, and that's what I'm trying to show you how easy it is, because you need to learn how to take notes in my class. So what do you notice? What do you wonder? Well, what I'm noticing is that, well, if I go from this to here, and let's see, that's a smaller number to a larger number, so that usually means it's either addition or multiplication. And then I start looking at that and going, well, let's see here. Well, it seems to me that it's not really addition, because 11 plus 1 is 12. That's true. But 11 plus 3 would not be, that's not 14. It's not 36. So I'm thinking multiplication. So then I start to think, well, what number times 1 gets me to 12? Well, of course, that's 12. And then if I multiply 3 times 12, that's 36. And 5 times 12 is 60. And 10 times 12 is 120. So, whoops, I didn't do that right. So each of these numbers in this column, and I'm going to call this column X and this column Y, every X is multiplied by 12. Now let's take a closer look. Again, this time what I really want you to do is just add, again, this is an example we used earlier in the week when we started talking about proportional relationships and equivalent ratios. So just add this header to the top of this table you just did. Just put like cases and then number of towels or rolls of towels. And so now it makes sense. So yeah, this is something we did before. So again, what is it telling me? Well, it's telling me that each of these amounts here, this is X, this is Y, that they're all multiplied by 12. So these are all the same factor. which brings us back to the constant of proportionality, or K. So K really is, what are you multiplying times X to get to Y? Now, let's feeding a crowd revisited. This is an example that we used the other day. And again, make a table, cups of rice, number of people. We've done this before. And now I want you to add a third column right here. Constant equals K, or this could be just K. That's our constant now. So again, what do you notice and what do you wonder? Well, I can say, it's like I say, it's multiplication. So I'm going to be multiplying 2 times some number to get to 6. Well, I know from experience that 2 and 6 are friendly numbers, so I can go with multiply by 3. Let's see if that pulls out here in the next one. Well, 3 times 3, that is 9. So the constant must be K. So if that's true, then 10 times 3 is going to be 30. Okay, so we have established that our constant is K. Well, how do we get that? Well, notice that what we did is we took and we said K, we figured out what X, this was X and this is Y. Well, we said, wait a minute, well, to get to K, we can use this formula, Y divided by X. And let's look at this first ratio here, 2 to 6. K equals 6 over 2, which equals 3. Every fraction is a division problem. Let's do that again. K equals 9y over 3x equals 3. Well, that's true. And then one more time, 30. So if 30 divided by 10, of course, is 3. Well, now here we are. Now we have this one right here. We got to figure out what this is. Well, they give us y, but they don't give us x, but we know what our constant is. So let's just go replace all these variables with things that we know. So here we don't know what we know. We know this is 3. That equals 45 over x. So what does that mean? Well, I can move this around and say, well, x times y equals, so x times 3 equals 45. So can't I just go 45 divided by 3 equals 15? So that is demonstrating, so that's how I can go back and forth between the two and say, oh, so because 15 times 3 equals 45. And again, to get that, all I did is I took y and divided by the constant, and that gave me the x. Like that. Okay, I put that in the notes. And again, this column is the variable x, this is the column for the variable y, and this is the column for k, our constant. And make sure you put that in your notes, because I'm going to start using this language. For this column is always going to be x, the other column will be y. And you'll see here in a moment that I can write this table in a slightly different way, but still the x and y are involved. So here is this is the whole, kind of captures the whole part of this assignment. What we're going to do is we're finding the constant of proportionality. K is equal to y divided by x. And here's that table I showed you that was a little different. But let me ask you this question. Could you do this? Can you rewrite the table in your notes? Yes, you can. Just like this. So I have 5, 40, 7, 56, 9, 72, and 12, 96. So there again, too, I'm asking, and then here comes my K column, my constant of proportionality. What times 5 gets me to 40? Well, that's 8, of course. What times 7 gets me to 56? 8, and so on and so forth. So if I wanted to, so that's how we find K. This is the formula, the equation to find the constant, or K of constant proportionality. This section, 3.4, proportional relationship defined, again, is where two quantities vary directly with each other because of a constant K. So as we saw up here, we went from 5 to 40, 7 to 56, 9 to 72, 12 to 96, because we were multiplying by 8. This right here, ladies and gentlemen, please make sure you get this in your notes. This is the equation form for a proportional relationship. Right here. Y equals kx. Taking this example up here that we just did, we know that, okay, so we take y equals 8, our constant, times x. So if x was, say I add another row here, x is 100, what would, and the k is 8, what would y be? Well, it'd be 8 times 100, or 800. Again, these are all equivalent ratios. So k is our constant of proportionality, and we'll be discussing this more later, but just the big thing here is k is a constant of proportionality, or constant, and x is the independent variable, y is the dependent variable. Your assignment is to go to Schoology and find week 4, lesson 2, and you'll be submitting your work in a Google slide. So using your Chromebook or other device, take a picture of your work after you complete it for those tables and finding the K, constant of proportionality, and writing down the, you'll find this and writing the equation for the proportional relationship y equals kx for each table. If you have questions, please let me know. And you guys are doing a great job. Thank you so much. And remember, watch this video again if you need to kind of cover some points again. It's always there for you. Thank you so much, and I'll see you in class.